Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at the buffed Skeledirge in the Open Ultra League. Incinerate got buffed and this Pokemon was already very strong in the last season, so let's take a look on how good this Pokemon is going to be in this season. We're going to start off here with a matchup against Alolan Ninetales, which is going to be amazing for us, but also the cool thing about Skeledirge is you're going to have coverage for the Poliwrath, and Poliwrath is everywhere, so very cool fire-type Pokemon that still has super effective coverage against this Pokemon. Also, we were able today to battle against FPSticks in this video, so definitely stay tuned for this. I actually didn't even know that they're still playing Pokemon Go, but very cool there. Going to be in this video as well. But let's take a look here at the first matchup against the Poliwrath. Poliwrath is honestly kind of my nemesis so far. I kind of need to find the best answer for this Pokemon. Like maybe something like a Charm Primarina or something would be cool for it. But honestly, it's like so broken in the current meta, it is wild. But let's take a look here at the team. We're going to have here the Skeledirge in the lead, we're going to have the Greedent as a safe swap, and in the back we're going to have our, what's called Pidgeot. Pidgeot going to be very decent in general in the current meta against everything that isn't a Steel type, and so we're going to have our lead that is going to be decent against Steel types. We're going to have our safe swap, which is kind of neutral against Steel types with Crunch as well as Mudshot, and we're going to have Pidgeot in the back that kind of tries to take advantage of this. Here we're going to go up against the opponent's Galissapod, but let's take a look at this matchup here. The opponent has Shadow Claw, which is going to be double resisted on our Pokemon and our Greedent here, and we can just spam them with the body slams. They even let this move go through, and I have no idea why the opponent just didn't want to use any shields here in this matchup. Definitely would have been better for them to use some shields on that Galissapod, but like this, we're just going to farm them all the way down with the buffed Incinerate. Moving on to the next opponent, we're going to have here the Weezing in the lead. Galarian Weezing is something that actually I think encountered twice on the lead, which was kind of interesting. I don't know if someone made a video about this Pokemon, but it's definitely a very solid one. We're going to see here the overheat coming through. Yes, it's going to do a ton of damage, but I kind of want to keep my shields for my other two Pokemon. Greedent is kind of just here to soak some damage, to spam them with some body slams, and have a great time while it's smiling at you. So that's all it really is supposed to do here in this matchup. As you're going to see, the opponent has their Swampert out there. I can just go ahead and go for even another body slam, as the Earthquake was not enough to knock us out, but they can farm us all the way down, which is a little bit tricky because they're definitely going to get to a move here against our Pidgeot, but I can still let this move go through, or Pidgeot can take this move, and yes, Pidgeot is very strong in the current meta, so I'll play it again. I can go for a Brave Bird here, as the opponent goes for their own charge move. They're going to win CMP tie, which is amazing because it's just a Brutal Swing. And Brutal Swing is just not enough to knock us out. We can go for the Brave Bird, get the shield, and also we're gonna get out the opponent's next Pokemon most likely very soon, because we can go for a shield. We're gonna get out the final shield at least here, which is kind of nice, and they're gonna stay in and go for another charge move. I'm fairly certain that they're going to outspeed me to the next charge move as well here, because yeah, they're gonna get to their one a little bit faster than I get to my Shadow Ball. But they're gonna have the Jellicent in the back, and our Skeledirge is just so good in the current meta. Honestly, here's the thing as well, which I kinda realized as well playing this team. Skeledirge with energy advantage is a busted. Like, this Pokemon is just so strong if it has some energy advantage, because the coverage of this Pokemon is insane. Like, everything kinda dies to Ghost or Fairy typing currently in the meta. So this Pokemon is still like one of the absolute units here right now, definitely worth building, and also pretty cheap to build as well. You don't need any legacy moves, you need only like 10k for the secondary charge move, you don't need anything else. You're going to see about another Weezing here in the lead. We're going to do exactly the same what I said before as well. I'm just going to go for 2 fast moves, because they need 10 turns to get to their Brutal Swing, and this is something that is exactly the same as like 2 Incinerates, and I don't really want to get hit by a super effective Brutal Swing, so then I swap out into my Greedent and have a great time here. We're going to have a great time as well against the opponent's Pokemon here, which is going to be a Tentacruel. Might be a little bit tricky. Was like one of the Pokemon I was a little bit worried about, but still, you are a fire type that's going to be able to resist the fast move of the opponent, which is kind of nice. So here we're going to be able to still go for a charge move, and I can still even go for my Shadow Ball against the opponent's Tentacruel in order to get the knockout here. At least that's what I thought, but they decide to use a shield, which is going to be fine for me, as we can just go ahead, let this... Oh, they're going to get the attack debuff. This is going to be annoying, because now we're going to go for the Disarming Voice. This is going to be able to get the final shield of the opponent, and I'm gonna use a shield against their next Scald, and they're gonna get again the debuff, which is really bad for me because I'm forced to swap out here. They're going to have the Weezing, and they're going to have the worst possible matchup in the bag. It is going to be the Lantern, and this is going to be horrific, as it's going to turn out, of course, going to be a complete hard wall and a core breaker for my lead, as well as for the Pidgeot here in the bag. I kind of want to take a look at the Lantern eventually as well. I have my build, definitely worth building at the current time if you're considering it. Very, very strong for the Ultra League. But as you can see here, we have to hope that we can knock them out with just one Shadow Ball, and we are not able to do so. They have like 2 or 3 HP left, and this is all they take to basically get to the surf, and we cannot reach another Shadow Ball in time. So this is going to be a good game. Don't think Shadow Ball would have knocked them out anyway, but let's move on to the next one. I guess we would have still been able to win this one with like a little bit more Incinerate damage, but let's move on to the next one. Here we're going to have the Clefable in the lead. Great lead for us, because we're going to be able to resist every single move from the Clefable, but we're going to see as well that the opponent is going to go into their Poliwrath, and they decide to use a shield here, which was a little bit interesting for me, because I didn't really expect it, and I don't really like it either, because I'm kind of forced to go for a Brave Bird now, and Brave Bird is going to not get the knockout because they're going to use both shields, but because it's a CMP type, I'm going to be fine with this. I'm going to let this move go through. I'm going to go back into my Skeledirge, of course, because yeah, there's no real reason for me to go into a normal type against a fighting type Pokemon, but I was not sure if I would knock them out with one Disarming Voice here, and I think I would have been able to, but now I get the attack drop, and now this is not really as easy anymore. And again, like Scald attack drop basically happens all the time against me, which is kind of annoying. But I'm fairly certain I would have been able to actually knock them out before if I just went for my charge move immediately. This is something that you kind of have to learn a little bit more when you just play those games. I just have to put it onto PvP and see how much damage it actually does, but again, it's kind of annoying. I think they got another debuff here against my Greedent as well, which is kind of annoying, but let's see what we can still do here. Hopefully they just don't get another debuff here with Moonblast or something. That would be wild, right? Like, honestly, this would never happen. What am I supposed to say? Of course, we're gonna get every single debuff that we can take here. We're just gonna take them all. And we're also going to take here another great technique, which apparently is a thing. As you can see, I don't press any charge move. We lose CMP even though we have like plus 10 attack or something compared to a Clefable. Great job there. This is apparently like a new thing as well. I had like this happening to me before, like in a video as well, where I was confused. I think it is a new thing. Don't know why this is a thing, but it is very annoying losing CMP type because you swap in there. But like, there's a thing before, you were just not locked into the move and you would be able to go for more fast moves afterwards. Now you're locked into the move and you still lose a CMP type that you're supposed to win. It's stupid. Let's move on to the next opponent. We're going to have here a favorable lead, but I like it even more on the back, and so I'm going to be very happy about the opponent swapping into the Ampharos here, because honestly, Trevenant against our lead is going to be the worst Pokemon that I could imagine for it, because like our backline is going to be pure normal basically, and both of them are going to be able to destroy a Trevenant. Here we're going to see the Ampharos coming in. Against Ampharos, going to be a later up matchup as well, where we're going to play it a little bit interesting, because again, you're going to see a little bit on how I play my Skeledirge a little bit more there, but again, you kind of want to keep the energy on the Skeledirge. Skeledirge with energy is amazing in the current meta. I cannot say it too often. This Pokemon is just insane if you have the energy advantage, but also Greedent is kind of insane because you're going to be able to still take this Seed Bomb from the opponent, and we can still even go for the Casual Crunch here, as the Casual Crunch is going to be able to get the knockout. You're gonna see the Regirock coming in, and this matchup was a little bit interesting. I know there's a survival charge move here, so I'm going to let this move go through, and I'm fairly certain that I would be able to survive another charge move onto my Skeledirge if I go for the double debuff here of the Feather Dance, and I'm going to be able to do exactly this. They're gonna go straight basically for another charge move and knock me out, which I'm fine with. But I feel like at least, I don't know, maybe it is just like me thinking or whatever, but I felt at least when I played this battle here that I was lagging some turns eventually, which you might see maybe not because it's double speed. Like usually if you see like some small lag, you don't really see it all the time because of double speed. But I'm going to try to go ahead and go for a charge move here now. But yeah, this, I don't know if it took like a long time, but I was like feeling, okay, this was not a CMP type, and it was apparently a CMP type, and I was not really expecting this, so we lose by one turn basically. Could have been a win most likely somehow, but let's move on to the next one. Next opponent coming in, we're going to have the Galvantula in the lead. Shiny Galvantula as well, looks amazing, as you're gonna see the swap in of the Mandibuzz. The cool thing about the Skeledirge is, as we said before, it has coverage against basically everything. Against Mandibuzz, one of its hardest answers, because like Ghost against a Dark-type Pokemon, you still have Disarming Voice, which is amazing for you. Here sadly the opponent still gets to another charge move before I can go for my charge move, but for whatever reason, the opponent decides to go for a shield here, which I found kinda peculiar, but it's going to be okay because I can just let this opponent's move go through as well. Aerial Ace does not knock me out, and they swap into a Jealous, and I couldn't imagine anything better for us here because they can swap immediately into our Greedent. And I'm honestly thinking that a Crunch should not knock them out here, but I might be able to knock them out with the Mud Shot afterwards, and this would be so good for me. And as you can see, we're gonna get the defense drop, which makes it even a little bit more possible, and we can just get so much free energy here. Just delicious body slam with damage coming out afterwards. It's just going to be very, very nice here. As you can see, the opponent swaps back into their Galvantula, where we can just go for one body slam, and I can even swap out into my fire type. And for whatever reason, they don't even want to throw any charge move either. We can just go for a Disarming Voice, and we can get the knockout and win this game pretty easily here with our Skeledirge. Next opponent coming up, second to last game, we're going to have the Greedent in the lead here, which is going to be a little bit of a trickier one because they're running, of course, Crunch, but I can swap out into my own Greedent. Greedent against Greedent is a long matchup if they're actually going to play it out. What I'm going to do here is what I also would recommend you because it's just the most smartest thing. Like, Body Slam doesn't do too much damage from us or like from the opponent. So what you kind of want to do is you kind of want to always over farm close to like the 90 energy. Because if they swap out, like here, we're going to be able to just unalign the clock if you want to. Because you're just going to be able to spam so many charge moves. And like this, as you can see already, the switch clock is going to be up. And we are not really taking advantage because it's a Tentacruel, and Tentacruel is not really ideal for either of our Pokemon in the back. But still, it would be a decent spot for me to maybe even go for a shield here, because I kind of want to realign. And of course, I'm gonna get the attack drop. I feel like of all of the scalds that hit me in this video, I think like 90% or something got a debuff onto my attack. Like, it was definitely a wild. But we're gonna see the green coming back in from the opponent, which is okay for me. I want to just store a body slam, as you can see here. I want to swap out afterwards, but they are smart enough to just go for a body slam before and prevent me from doing this. But I will still go into my Pidgeot. Pidgeot is going to have a decent time here. And I can just go for the Feather Dance most likely afterwards. They have way more energy than I expected that they would have. But I can still go for the Feather Dance. I know that they're going to be able to hit another charge move afterwards. But I should be able to hopefully farm them all the way down after that. And just get some energy. But they decide to swap out again. And I make a crucial mistake here. I'm going to go for a shield. It's going to be the Acid Spray. And they can still get to another move. And this is horrible for me because now, like, my Pidgeot is going to be down, they have a shield advantage, they have switch advantage. It's not looking too great. What is coming in here right now, though, is going to be the Greedent. And I know that there's some energy, so I decided to go straight for my charge move. They let this move not go through. They're going to still use a shield there and give me some energy as well with my fast move. And they're going to swap out into the Giratina. And at this point of time, the only thing that I know is I win. There is nothing the opponent can do here anymore. Like, literally nothing. Because I have the Brave Bird stored. And so, what we can do here is we can go for the Brave Bird. And you see it already on the top. This clock is turning down there. We're going to see that there's a 0 on the clock. And so, we win based on HP. And we can win this game. Final game against FPSticks. Going to be an interesting one. We're having a pretty bad lead, but they decided to swap out immediately, which I find kind of interesting. Like, it is an okay lead to still play out for us. Like, it's not completely horrible, but like, if I would have been running the Poliwrath, I would have still stayed in. Like, you have Scald, which does do more damage than, for example, our Disarming Voice there. But it's going to be fine for us. You saw me as well, keeping all the energy basically on my Skeledirge and farming up extra, because I know that I am better off taking a move from a non-Shadow Ampharos on my Skeledirge than from like a Scald from the Poliwrath, and I'm still going to have the Disarming Voice as coverage here. What I can also do is go for a Body Slam here, and gonna go for another Body Slam, so I can get them into kind of range for the Disarming Voice, and I still keep one Body Slam alive for later on because it might help me out as well. I can go for one Disarming Voice here, going at the shield, this is kind of fine for me, and I can use a shield myself. They're going to most likely go for either Icy Wind or the Scald. They're going to go for the Icy Wind, and we will see here the opponent having in the back the Skuntank, and Skuntank is going to be a little bit of a trickier one, but also going to be a little bit tricky for them, because the fast move is going to be resisted against me. Like, honestly, the ghost typing is so nice on Skeledirge. They're gonna go for a crunch still, because we would have still got to another charge move, so this is the right call from the opponent. But here, the body slam that we were able to store before is coming in clutch. I can swap out now into my Pidgeot, and we have a shield still left. I'm not going to use a shield here because I know that they're going to have Icy Wind, which they most likely are going to still get to. We're sadly going to get again another debuff from a Crunch, which is kind of insane for the entire gameplay that we had here so far. Like literally everything debuffed me. 100% chance against me, even with a Moonblast. But we can still go for the full farm down here, and we have to reach the Brave Bird. And we do reach the Brave Bird. And so this is going to be it for this video and this game. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.